What's up, everybody? Andrew Mahone here with Tricky Jim at Full Grip Games. Today I'm going to be showing off Shintaro Ito's second place Blacephalon-GX Naganadel deck from the World Championships. This is quickly becoming one of my favorite decks in standard format. I love its consistency. Shintaro had a very unique take on Blacephalon-GX for the World Championships, which took him all the way to the finals of the world stage. Had a lot of unique inclusions in here. Definitely a creative take on the deck. Shintaro, of course, our 2016 world champion of Mega Audino fame, definitely has built up quite a name for himself. In the list, we've got 3 Blacephalon-GX, which is interesting. A lot of lists previous to the World Championships were playing 4 copies of Blacephalon-GX, but just 3 and 2 copies of Heatran-GX from Unified Minds. We also have 2 copies of Naganadel-GX with the Ultra Conversion ability from Unified Minds, 3 Naganadel from Lost Thunder, and 4 Poipole. He's actually got a 3-1 split, the Eye Opener Poipole to the Spit Poison Poipole there. A copy of Mew with the Bench Barrier ability, and then to finish things off for the Pokemon, a Dedenne-GX. Now, one of the most interesting parts about this list is the 2 copies of Heatran-GX. Its Burning Road ability allows you to move all of your fire energy from play, as many fire energy as you would like, to the Heatran-GX whenever you switch Heatran from the bench to the active position. Now, interesting enough about this list, there is no switch cards, so not a lot of options to trigger that Burning Road ability. However, Naganadel can easily retreat into Heatran, and then you can move all of your energy to Heatran to pull off a very powerful Hot Burn GX. Hot Burn GX does 50 damage times the amount of fire energy attached to this Pokemon. So if you have 6 fire energy attached to your Heatran-GX, you can Hot Burn GX for 300 damage, which is enough to one-hit KO just about any Pokemon you'd possibly want to in standard format. And what's really cool about the Heatran-GX, as opposed to knocking something out with Blacephalon-GX and Mind Blown, is that Heatran-GX does not lost zone the energy when you take a huge knockout with it. It keeps all of the energy in play. If the Heatran-GX goes down, that's okay. You can start using your Naganadel from Lost Thunder with its charging up ability to bring that energy back into play for a game-finishing Mind Blown. And of course, Blacephalon-GX is still the star of the show. I love my own personal list here. We've got all 3 different arts of Blacephalon-GX. Wasn't intended. These are just the ones that I came into, and they've kind of grown on me. Love this card. Bursting Burn is always just an incredible option. If you don't have the cards you need in play to take out a big knockout on a tag team Pokemon GX, Bursting Burn burns and confuses the defending Pokemon, which is a great option for disrupting the opponent's strategy and potentially giving you another turn to use Naganadel's charging up ability, another turn to just attach Welder energy into play for game-finishing Mind Blown attacks. And Mind Blown really is the backbone of this whole deck, doing 50 damage times the amount of fire energy you send from play into the Lost Zone. Can easily knock out tag team Pokemon GX in one hit. And what's really cool about Blacephalon is that there's no tag team Pokemon in this deck. I was talking with my friends, I think it was Riley, that said Blacephalon-GX only gives up 2 prizes. In this format, that's basically only 1 prize. And even though it's not a single prize, the point is that tag teams giving up 3 prizes, it feels like your opponent is not really advancing too far towards their win condition when they only take 2 prizes for knocking out a Pokemon. We have gotten so used to Pokemon giving up 3 prizes with the tag team Pokemon. It is definitely a relief to be playing a deck that only gives up 2 prizes at a time. And then, of course, Burst GX, one of the best GX attacks in the game, just because it is quick, efficient, and easy, allowing you to just discard a prize card, and if it's a fire energy, you can attach it to one of your Pokemon in play. Fantastic attack there. Great for getting out the gates quick, and just for preserving your energy while you're building up big Mind Blown attacks for later. One of the new all-stars of this deck is the Naganadel GX from Unified Minds. Shintaro decided to play 2 copies, and I think that that is correct. I mean, Naganadel-GX is an all-star. Being able to use its ability Ultra Conversion, you can discard an Ultra Beast from your hand and draw 3 cards. It feels like trade, but stronger. Now, you don't exactly get to use Ultra Conversion every single turn, since you do have to discard an Ultra Beast from your hand, and there is only a limited amount of Ultra Beasts in the deck, but you'll find if you get to use Ultra Conversion just a few times throughout the course of the game, it can be absolutely game-breaking. Ultra Conversion, in combination with Heat Factory and Welder, can allow you to amass these gigantic hands where you just have everything that you could possibly want to finish your game plan in your hand at the same time. Venom Shot, also an incredible attack for a Psychic and 3 colorless. You get to discard 2 energy from this Pokemon and deal 170 damage wherever you would like on your opponent's side of the field. That's a phenomenal attack for finishing off Pokemon on your opponent's bench. Dedenne-GX famously only has 160 hit points, so Venom Shot does deal enough damage to one-hit KO Dedenne-GX. It's also great for finishing off whatever sort of tag teams you may have left unfinished, maybe with Heatran-GX's Steaming Stomp, dealing 130 damage. In combination with Venom Shot, you can finish off tag teams quite easily. So Venom Shot, a fantastic attack. Not gonna lie, I have not used Injection GX, but the option is there for a Lightning Energy. Add a card from your opponent's discard to their prize cards, and you gotta love the versatility of this deck. Being able to attack with Naganadel GX, being able to attack with Naganadel, and its turning point attack against non-GX decks is a great option. You can also deal 160 damage, 190 if you have the Beast Energy attached to Naganadel on your own 3 prize turn. And then Heatran, 2 copies of Heatran, really is just making a statement saying Heatran not only good enough that we have 1 copy, but 2 copies, making sure that we get to attack with Heatran almost every single game. And Steaming Stomp is a great attack against non-GX attackers as well, where maybe you don't want to Mind Blown and Lost Zone all of your energy. 130 damage is perfect for knocking out Giratinas and the like as well. 1 copy of Bench Barrier Mew is great for making sure that your opponent doesn't play around your Beast Ring turn, protecting against Tag Bolt GX, which famously can take like 4 to 5 prizes in 1 turn, and then also great for protecting against Naganadel GX with its Venom Shot. Dedenne-GX, obviously here for Dedenne Change, a great draw card, turning all of your Cherish Balls into consistency cards, and great for digging that extra bit into your deck when you're trying to set up and establish a board position and also find those crucial Beast Rings. Moving on to the supporters, this deck does play 4 copies of Welder, 4 copies of Cynthia, 1 Lillie, and 1 Hapu. 1 copy of Lillie is pretty radical compared to most of the standard lists that we had seen previously. A lot of decks wanted to play 4 so that they increase their odds of getting that turn 1 fill your hand to 8. But just 1 means that Lillie is here more of an auxiliary supporter, not really the backbone of the deck. When we see a turn 1, great. If we don't, that's fine too. Mostly here just to fill the gaps in the middle of the game. The main backbone of this deck is Welder. With 4 copies of Welder, you have a lot of options to aggressively attach fire energy to your Pokemon, which is fantastic, providing for huge Mind Blowns attacks, capable of one-hit KOing the most popular tag team Pokemon. Cynthia is a great option in this deck too, since it allows you to conserve your resources. Shuffle, draw 6, allows you to continue setting up your deck without being wasteful, preserving important cards like Custom Catcher and Beast Ring for later in the game when they are needed. Speaking of wasteful, we do have 1 copy of Hapu that reads, look at the top 6 cards of your deck and put 2 of them into your hand, discard the other cards. This card is fantastic for that late game dig where you're just looking for the final Beast Ring or the final Custom Catcher to complete a combo in your hand to win the game. Hapu has been fantastic in the games that I've played with this deck so far, and definitely a stellar one of supporter. As far as the item cards, 4 copies of Mysterious Treasure, 3 Cherish Ball, 4 Custom Catcher, 3 Beast Ring, and a Reset Stamp. The stadiums, we've got 2 copies of Ultra Space and 1 Heat Factory. So a very simple, very straightforward deck. I love the consistency cards that we have here. 4 copies of Mysterious Treasure is fantastic because not only does it allow you to search out your Naganadels, your Poipoles, and your Naganadel-GXs, it also allows you to discard fire energy from your hand, putting them into the discard pile so that Naganadel from Lost Thunder can use its charge up ability. Reset Stamp is a great option for the end of the game, just disrupting your opponent, limiting their hand size to the amount of prizes that they have remaining. Since we do have very conservative draw supporters like Cynthia in the deck, we can often save that valuable Reset Stamp until the end of the game. With only 1 Dedenne-GX in deck, we're really not discarding that many resources, and the 1 Reset Stamp definitely goes the distance. 3 copies of Cherish Ball allows us to search out our Naganadel-GXs as well as Blacephalon and Heatran and Dedenne-GX. Turning a Cherish Ball into a discard draw 6 with Dedenne-GX is phenomenal, but also great for getting out Heatran-GX on the key turn that we may need it. One of the most notable things about this list is no copies of Pokemon Communication as well, just relying on Mysterious Treasure and Cherish Ball for the deck's search options and just drawing into Pokemon naturally too. 4 Custom Catcher is great. Not only does it allow us to draw cards when our hand is low, but having the ability to target down whatever tag team Pokemon on the opponent's side of the field that you want is game breaking. Allows Blacephalon to take pointed knockouts on the Pokemon it wants to when it wants to. And this deck really has more outs to targeting down bench Pokemon than just about any other deck in standard format right now, with 4 Custom Catchers and then of course the Naganadel-GX from Lost Thunder. That means you're going to constantly be targeting down things on the opponent's bench, something that this format is not really accustomed to. There's not as much bench targeting as there was in past formats, and with Naganadel-GX sniping 170, 4 Custom Catchers, which easily get used with the amount of raw draw that we have in this deck with Heat Factory and Welder and Ultra Conversion on the Naganadel-GX, you're often putting together double Custom Catcher plays. One of the most radical things about this list is only 3 copies of Beast Ring. Most Blacephalon-GX decks were playing 4 prior to the World Championships, but you got to take into consideration we have 4 copies of Welder. Welder is a card that you want to see early. Using Welder on the first turn of the game is great. Finding Beast Ring early is not as great. You really only want to see Beast Ring on your 3 or 4 prize turns, so it makes sense that you would limit that card to only 3 copies, especially since we're going to be amassing huge hands with this deck with all of the draw power that we have in it. So the argument is by the time that your opponent's on their 3 or 4 prize turn, you really are going to have a big enough hand that you'll be able to take advantage of Beast Ring. 2 Ultra Space is fantastic for searching out your Ultra Beast Pokemon. Also great for providing an Ultra Beast for Naganadel-GX's Ultra Conversion ability. And then Heat Factory, obviously great for getting fire energy in the discard pile and contributing to the draw power of this deck. Finally, the energy, also interesting in this list. We've got 1 copy of Beast Ring, 1 Psychic Energy, and then 14 Fire Energy. 14 is 1 less Fire Energy than we'd been accustomed to seeing in Blacephalon decks leading up to the World Championships. 15 had really become the pretty much standard for Blacephalon decks. Moving down to 14, pretty interesting, especially considering that we have 4 copies of Welder and we're really looking to get multiple fire energy in hand at the same time to take advantage of Welder. But we do have, instead of the 15th fire energy, 1 copy of Psychic Energy, which is great for using Naganadel-GX's Venom Shot attack. Beast Energy can also be used to provide the Lightning type requirement on Naganadel-GX's Injection GX. Also can be used as the Psychic requirement on Venom Shot. Not only that, Beast Energy also great for giving Blacephalon-GX those numbers that it wants to hit. You only need to Lost Zone 5 energy with a Beast Energy attached to Blacephalon-GX to knock out popular 270 hit point Pokemon GX, Tag Team Pokemon GX. And that about does it for Shintaro Ito's Blacephalon-GX deck. Second place list from the World Championships. One of my favorite decks in standard format right now. You do have to worry about the popular Tapu Fini tech that some players are putting in their list. If you're going to a League Cup or a League Challenge, I would advise not letting any of your buddies know that you're playing Blacephalon-GX, or they might just throw the Tapu Fini in there. So nice to keep on the DL so that people don't tech against you, but definitely a powerful, powerful deck in this standard format. Trades great with Tag Team Pokemon GX. It's consistent. I love the deck. Definitely one of my top picks in our current standard format. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Make sure to like the video, sub to the channel, ring that bell. Check me out on Twitch, where you can catch live streams every single weekday, twitch.tv/TrickyJim, and of course, FullGripGames.com for all your Pokemon trading card game singles. Take it easy. Have a great day. Peace.